There is another world, a place of wonder, fantastic creatures and places, people and their stories. It is glimpsed only in childhood fantasy, or in dreams you can't quite remember. This is one of those dreams. This is a story from the Veilworld. John wiped his brow as he stepped into the smoke of the bar. It had been warm out in the midday sun, but it would be even warmer in this dark corner of Bernat. Tucked away in an alley, the floating hand was a welcome refuge from the ever-present soldiers of the ducks. He wiped his sweaty hands on his tunic and looked around, hoping to find a seat near a wall. Fortune didn't favor him, though, as all the wall tables were occupied by men in dark hoods, or with grim dispositions. He settled for the only spot he could see, a table to the right of the bar's small stage. Its only other occupant was also wearing a cloak. His was gray and fastened with rope. There seemed to be enough room for him on the opposite side, though. "Mind if I join you?" The stranger didn't acknowledge him, so he shrugged and sat down. John looked around, hoping some sort of barmaid had spotted him. His journey had been long and his bread stale. The smell of cooked meat was too alluring to pass up. Unfortunately, however, the one server he did spot was chatting with a burly individual with a nasty scar on his right arm in the far corner of the room. He waved for her, and he thought he caught her eye, but she made no move from her spot leaning against the bar. John sighed and fished for his coin purse. He pulled out a silver and placed it carefully on the splintered table in front of him. The barmaid immediately hurried over, and more than a few eyes followed her. He knew he shouldn't be so careless with his coin, but he was too tired and hungry to care. His first trip on the Artian had taken a toll on him. It really was as difficult as people had said. "Mutton stew's all we got left tonight. If you'd been earlier, there would still have been leg." John nodded. "That's fine." The barmaid snapped up his silver and hurried off, smacking away a few wandering hands as she went. "Oi, Francis, I'll tell Marna." As she went through the kitchen door, someone came out the other direction. It was a small, balding man, with a well-trimmed goatee and colorful clothing. He was clutching a small leather-bound case, and he made his way directly to the stage, a table away from John's seat. He stooped down to open it, and pulled out an old but well-polished lute. He sat down on a stool and began to tune. The bard was going to play and sing, it seemed. He must be tonight's entertainment, John thought. And John had somehow stumbled into the best seat in the house. He found that very strange. His table mate had stiffened slightly when he spotted the bard, but relaxed as the man announced the first tune of the evening. The bard cleared his throat. "I'm going to start off tonight with a song from the Marches, When My Bonnie Goes to Market." He strummed a few chords and began to play. The song seemed to be about a woman who would cheat on her spouse under the pretext of going to market. John wasn't paying very close attention as his meal had arrived. The barmaid had plopped down a steaming bowl and an earthenware mug. "I didn't ask for grog." "I know, love, but you'll need it. Trust me." She dropped a few coppers on the table, winked, and sauntered back over to the bar. She was right about the mutton. It was overly spiced. It sounded to John that the audience wasn't very interested in the song, and apparently the bard agreed. All right, fine," he said as he finished his tune. "I'll play what you all came here for." He cleared his throat again and began to pluck out a happy tune. "This is," he announced, "the Ballad of the Buffoon." The crowd began to stomp and clap to the rhythm, and a few even sang along from their seats. This was clearly a crowd favorite. "Oh, he's not too bold and he's not too bright. He slumbers past the morning light. He always does just what he's told. Oh, he's a city guardsman. He's sleeping on the eastern wall. A shadow pushes and he falls. He's a sleeper, not a doer, and rightly covered in manure. He's not too bold and he's not too bright. He slumbers past the morning light. The shadow thief, she knows him well. Oh, he's a city guardsman. He's heard the legend of a lass who sees through walls like they were glass, but glass to her, to him's all fog. He's prone to drown in his own grog. He's not too bold, he's not too bright. He slumbers past the morning light. One day he'll cut off his own toe. Oh, he's a city guardsman. She steals the goods and lifts the gold. But that poor scribe, oh, he'll grow old before the next patrol you see. The guard won't come till 3:30. He's not too bold, he's not too bright. He slumbers past the morning light. He'd rather have a guard of straw, or he's a city guardsman. He set to watch some silver pots, but very promptly he forgot. He's chasing skirts, oh it gets worse. The shadow lifted his own purse. He's not too bold, he's not too bright. He slumbers past the morning light. She loves him very much, you see, for he's a city guardsman. The crowd roared with approval and threw coins up on stage. John moved as if to join them, his meal long forgotten, but then frowned. He pawed at his belt. Where was his coin purse? And where was his table mate? It was as if somehow during the applause he had melted into the shadows.